Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the HealthTech Innovation Conclave. We just had a very insightful and interesting morning session when we had the inaugural morning session attended by senior policymakers. We had Dr. Ratan Kelkar, GS Naveen Kumar, and Dr. K. Madan Gopal from Niti Aayog, who talked about the direction Indian healthcare is taking on the policy level front. So now, after the inaugural session, before we start with the day's panel discussions, we have a very interesting perspective from the industry. As all of you are aware, healthcare has different stakeholders, the healthcare service providers, the caregivers, as well as the industry who is providing in most cases, the new and modern up to date technology, which further helps the overall healthcare ecosystem. So, as part of that industry session, we now have Mr. Puneet Dhar, who is a national product manager from Crestron India, who will be talking about technology innovation in changing healthcare. So I'm sure Puneet will be talking about some of the solutions and services that Crestron offers, and more importantly, how these solutions and services are really benefiting the overall Indian healthcare ecosystem. And it would be great if Puneet can talk about certain use cases to illustrate these benefits better. So, without any further ado, I'd like to hand over to Puneet to take forward the presentation. Over to you, Puneet.
Thank you, Mr. Rajneesh. So let me first put my presentation up. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rajneesh. So good morning to all of you. I am Puneet Dhar. I work with Crestron India as a national product manager. Today, I'll take you through the role of technology, how it has actually innovated the healthcare sector. It's a topic which has been in the limelight for decades now. But I think with the innovation in the technology, there have been new milestones that have been achieved in the case of healthcare. So I'll do a bit of touch up on how the technology has played its role in case of healthcare. And before I proceed further, let me thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity to talk about this topic. Let me first start with a brief introduction about who we are. So we were founded as Crestron in year 1972. We have been the pioneers in the AV space. A lot of innovations are credited to us in terms of the first in the industry when it comes to the AV space. And we also started our journey and innovations in the UC space as well. So today, while I speak, we are the pioneers in the AV space as well as the unified communication space. And the advantage that this kind of technology brings is that we provide an end-to-end solution in terms of the AV and the UC, and then the blend of both the technologies have helped us achieve a lot of business milestones and business, requirements of the organizations. We are present globally. We are headquartered out of states. We have offices globally, and from the India perspective, we are based out of Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Kolkata. We have three R&D centers worldwide, and one of the R&D centers is based out of Bangalore. So that's a place wherein a lot of software development in terms of products, feature developments, bug fixes, innovations are actually carried out through that R&D center. When it comes to Crestron, our technology is based on four pillars. So there are four foundational blocks or four value pillars that we talk about. First and foremost is the simple to deploy. So when we talk about the innovations, we talk about the product development. The first and the foremost target is to have the solutions designed which are simple to deploy and manage. Because if we keep the technology complicated, nobody will use it because it's a simple thing that if the technology is complicated, adoption doesn't take place, and hence the utilization of the technology doesn't happen. Second and the foremost is easy to use. We understand that every person behind the technology may not be well equipped with the technology. So we ensure that the platform, the user interface that we provide with our technology makes a consistent user experience across all kind of use cases and is easy to be utilized in terms of the utilization. More important is, are all the solutions are enterprise grade, follow the enterprise grade security standards. So the deployment can happen in the government sector, in the military, and in the healthcare as well, wherein the privacy of the data is equally important. So you can be rest assured that when it comes to Crestron, all our products support the enterprise grade security, and not to forget that we are also informed by the experience. So these are the four foundations, or I can say four pillars of the Crestron value system. We are not alone in this journey. So when you talk about Crestron, we partner with a lot of global ecosystem players such as Microsoft, Zoom, just to name few. So our technology interoperates, works seamlessly with these players to ensure that when it comes to a requirement, such as in case of healthcare, there are no interoperability issues, and as a user, you get a seamless end experience. Now let us come to the main point, which is about the role of technology in case of healthcare. Let us understand how the technology can interplay with healthcare. As I said in the beginning itself, that role of technology in case of healthcare has been a very popular topic since last couple of years. Some of the basic use cases of the technology can be in terms of telemedicine, providing the healthcare to the remote part of the country. It can also be used for medical education, because not all the corners of the country are equipped with the quality grade education system. So we can ensure that we can utilize the technology to spread the use of or the spread the medical education. Healthcare administration and research are some of the other key applications when it comes to technology. But how exactly we connect these various points? So, if, for example, if you're talking about medical education, what kind of a technology is required? So, in the legacy, in the previous times before the COVID, there were a lot of technologies which were using the legacy-based systems, wherein the IP address dialing mechanisms, were in play to connect, and that were really not giving a very seamless and a easy access to the end users. Post COVID, there has been a dramatic change in the adoption of the technology. Players like Microsoft and Zoom have enabled people individually, organizations, and healthcare departments to connect to each other virtually. We all have experienced during the COVID timeframe, and even as I speak today, we see that most of the organizations, healthcare institutes, are using these kind of technologies to not only connect with the patients but also connect with their peers within the city or globally as well. So typically, as we say, if we have to state with the usage of the technology, and when it comes to the personal space, the medical specialist or the patients can typically use a tablet or a laptop or a phone to connect to the specialist who may be who may be in the same city or in a different city as well. But then these are not the devices which are to be used in all the applications of healthcare, such as the learning or telemedicine. There are special industry grade solutions which meet the specific needs as per the requirement. So one such requirement can be about the physician's office. When you talk about a physician's office, or you talk about a remote hospital, district hospital, or a district or a hospital in the village itself, uh, wherein you may have the constraints about the space, you may not have enough electricity or a guarantee of a consistent supply of the electricity. And for that matter, we can also talk about the usage of the medical college or the lecture theatre. So when it comes to those kind of scenarios, when it comes to those kind of use cases, you can't really rely on the tablets and the laptops to fill the requirement, right? So that's where Crestron technology comes into play, wherein we partner with Microsoft, we partner with players like Zoom to provide an end-to-end solution to the healthcare organizations, healthcare institutes, to meet the various needs. So it can be, as I said in the beginning, it can be a video phone in the form of on the physician's desk itself, or when it comes to a district hospital or a remote clinic or for education purpose itself, there are industry grade solutions which interoperate with Microsoft Team and also with Zoom to give you a native experience, so that when it comes to the utilization and when it comes to the use case, the end user doesn't really have to struggle with the technology, and they can kickstart the utilization from the code itself. So this is what I was talking about. So all our solutions in the form of Crestron Flex give you the native team and native Zoom experience. So the biggest advantage of that kind of a solution is that as a user, I am familiar with the Microsoft Team interface. I am familiar with the Zoom interface. And when I walk into a room or in a classroom, I see the familiar user interface, which means that the technology is not new to me, and I can definitely feel easy utilizing that technology to connect with my peers, either for telemedicine application or for the education purpose. So in addition, there might be a scenario when you have to get on a call, which is either not a Microsoft Team call or a Zoom call. In that scenario, our solution will also give you a bring your own device capability, which implies that you can connect a USB cable to your laptop and still use the audio and the video peripherals in the room to make utilize of to connect to the far side. And in case you start with Microsoft Teams, but you want to move over to Zoom, or you start with Zoom, but you want to move over to Teams, we also provide the investment protection in the form that our devices are easily swappable from the Microsoft Team to Zoom interface, or from the Zoom to the Microsoft Team. So you can be rest assured about the protection of your investment when it comes to Crestron technology. Now, if I have to talk about the use of the Crestron healthcare and the technology in case of education, so this has been the very basic and the elementary use case in case of healthcare. It can be some class. It can be the broadcast of a class session to the remote classes. So the technology such as unified communication in the form of Microsoft Teams and Zoom has been utilized to spread the basically conduct the remote classes. However, there might be some data which is very sensitive, which you really do not want to put on the cloud. And for that matter, you want to stream the contents of maybe a dummy operation theater, which actually is used for the educational purposes, to another room, or to a different floor in that building itself, or maybe a different in the same campus itself. So we have the technology in the form of a AV to ensure that the data doesn't hit the cloud. You don't really require any collaboration technique, and you can utilize either the Crestron localized AV or the Crestron AV or IP technology for those educational needs. So let me give you a very basic example. So this could be a very example of a dummy operation theater wherein you have sources in the form of cameras which are capturing various aspects of the operation theater, such as the patient or the doctors or the attendants. There can be other devices such as the ultrasound imaging device, vital monitor, or the 3D images. And then you want to see the content, or you want to see those inputs on the output side or on the destination side on the panels. Now, with the Crestron technology, we can ensure that we can provide you a localized AV solution wherein the inputs are transmitted to the output side locally. But at times there might be a requirement wherein you want to show this content to a different classroom, different, which might be on the same floor, which might be on a different floor, or a completely total different building itself. So that's where the localized AV limitations come into play, and we used state of the art AV over IP technology for our Crestron NVX products, which helps you to seamlessly transmit this information, transmit this content over the standard IP network, which every organization, every healthcare institute will have for their day-to-day needs, and then we leverage the existing network to broadcast this content to the far side. All these solutions support 4K 6444, and this solution also gives you the video scaling capability. Now, this example, as you see, was for the localized AV, but it can be, as I said, if you have to transmit this content to a lecture room or a auditorium or a classroom, then with the help of AV or IP, we can use the technology to basically transmit the content. Now, I'll take a minute here and I'll run a video which actually is the real-time use case of Crestron NVX technology for the educational needs by the MedtoMarket. So let me play the video over here.
MedtoMarket is a medical innovation ecosystem. We provide a space where you have all the resources, you have the network of physicians, you have the biggest device companies in the world.
We have an extremely comprehensive facility that houses training, events, and co-working spaces.
MedtoMarket goes beyond the typical teaching hospital setup. We consider this to be very much an innovation think tank.
This is a one-of-a-kind facility, and what brings it all together is Crestron Technology. When we're hosting large training events, it's incredibly important for us to be able to broadcast what's happening in our lab area to all the different parts of our facility. Crestron's DM NVX allows us to do that.
NVX has been instrumental for us in the ability to cast information throughout the building.
Imagine if you're a surgeon trying to teach a very delicate surgery. To be able to distinguish the different tissue layers, what an artery is from a vein, what a nerve looks like, if you have not been taught properly, then that's life and death. We can't have pixelation, we can't have latency, and we can't have distortion of color. So having the best AV technology around is incredibly important for us.
At MedtoMarket, security is critical. Customers are often utilizing the space with proprietary technology as well as mission-critical projects that require a secure platform.
Our clients expect their sensitive information to be protected. It is very important to have a secure system that will allow the clients that comfort.
We have some Defense Department, military personnel, and even special operations groups that come through. DMNVX is the only government certified solution that provides a safe and secure platform.
Conferencing and presentations are a pinch point for a lot of companies when they come to a new space, and 9 times out of 10, AV is the largest headache. Crestron makes it easy.
Anybody could walk up to our Crestron panels and be able to present very seamlessly. We have many different groups coming in that use different platforms. The last thing they want to do is spend 5 minutes connecting. They want to come in, they want to sit down, and they want to present wirelessly.
I hear the comment a lot. They're like, wow, this was the easiest thing we've ever done. We chose Crestron because it's the language of workplace technology.
Technology is critical for healthcare to advance right now. Crestron has been extremely helpful in bringing our MedtoMarket vision to life, from design all the way through user experience.
There's no one out there in the world that's done anything like this. Our partnership with Crestron has allowed us to push the envelope of medical innovation, and that's what really sets us apart here at MedtoMarket.
Right. So that was Crestron NVX for you. Utilizing your existing LAN network or Ethernet to transmit the video and the sources to the far side. So on the last leg of my slide is the Crestron XOR Cloud. So we spoke about the UC technology, we spoke about the utilization of the AV technology as well. But how about the management of this technology within the healthcare institutes or departments? So management of these kind of devices can be a big uphill task if you do not have any centralized mechanism tool. So when it comes to Crestron, we provide you a dashboard in the form of XOR Cloud, which actually is a cloud-based subscription service from where you can do a remote support. So you can see the inventory, all the inventory of your IT in terms of AV and the UC gear that has been deployed within the institute, within the hospital or clinic. From that window itself, you can perform the troubleshooting. If in case anything is wrong with any system, you can provide the remote support with the help of the Crestron XOR Cloud. You can also maintain the operational standards. So when it comes to operational standards, you can see the health of the devices. You can proactively take actions in case anything is required in order to bring the system up and working before it is to be utilized for a particular use case. You can also manage your device lifecycle, which means that from the same dashboard, you can perform the software upgrade. So you can have a list of products under one category or multiple categories, and then you can ensure that all those products under a category are configured the same way, are on the same software level to ensure that there is a consistency when it comes to the use case. And as a user, I don't experience different flow or a different experience when I use the same technology either at location A and location B. So it also allows you to do the software upgrades proactively as and when it is required. And then with the help of the analytic information that we gather with the help of the XOR Cloud, it also provide a lot of it also provide a lot of insights in terms of the utilization so that the IT can take proper course correction and ensure that devices are utilized in the best way. These are some of the awards that we got in the various categories by Infocom last year, 2021. So, we were declared winner in a lot of categories by Infocom. And that was it from my side for today. In case you have any clarifications or you need any inputs from our side, you can always reach out to me at pdhar@crestron.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Puneet. Thanks for that insightful session. Before we conclude that session, on behalf of APAC News Network, we would like to hand over a certificate digitally to Puneet. So can we have the certificate? So this is a certificate of appreciation for Puneet Dhar. And thanks on behalf of APAC News Network.
Thank you, Mr. Rajneesh. Thank you so much for your time and giving us this opportunity as well.
Sure. Thank you.